Tell me what's your motive tonight. Will I end up right by your side? Get lost when you need it. It's hard to believe it. Tell me what's your motive tonight. Tell me what's your motive tonight. Will I end up right by your side? Get lost when you need it. It's hard to believe it. Tell me what's your motive tonight. When you want it, where will you say? When you need it, tell me what's your motive tonight. When you want it, where will you say? When you need it, tell me what's your motive tonight. What's your motive tonight? What's your motive tonight? What's your motive tonight? What's your motive tonight? Tell me what's your motive tonight. Will I end up right by your side? Get lost when you need it. It's hard to believe it. Tell me what's your motive tonight. Tell me what's your motive tonight. Will I end up right by your side? Get lost when you need it. It's hard to believe it. Tell me what's your motive tonight. Want it, where will you say? When you need it, tell me what's your motive tonight. When you want it, where will you say? When you need
All right. Hey, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you may be in this beautiful planet of ours. This is Metaphysical Mocha Mondays. I'm Marc Lainhart, your host here on Monday mornings at 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm here in my prospecting and healing studio here in West Seattle of Washington State, the beautiful Pacific Northwest. Grab your coffee, grab your tea, as this morning we're going to be talking about Mental Health Awareness Month. It is May, so happy May Day to you. It's May 2nd. It's only 2 days away from May the 4th be with you. So I've got my classic Star Wars Stormtrooper, this is actually called a Death Trooper coffee cup, as we get ready to celebrate Star Wars. For those of you that follow my work, obviously you can see I'm a big Star Wars fan, because I've always believed in the Force. I've always believed that there is an energy, a love, a force that connects us all to what is seen and what is unseen. And the month of May is always the celebration, because for you history buffs, Star Wars came out May 25th, 1977. And ever since then, they always premiere. So on May 4th, they'll have some news coming out. And then, of course, you have Star Wars Celebration. And then the new Obi-Wan Kenobi drops on Disney+. So that's for all you Star Wars nerds and geeks out there. May the 4th be with you, which is just in 2 days. So today is May 2nd. And I wanted to share this today's episode with you about Mental Health Awareness Month. It's something that's near and dear to my heart. In my journey, I've seen mental health up close and personal from my days as a first responder, as a retired firefighter, called to many calls, whether it was a volunteer check, an involuntary commit, somebody that may, do harm to themselves, domestic violence, domestic abuse, somebody that has SI, which is suicide intentions or suicide ideation is what we call it in healthcare. So, and I've, from a personal standpoint, I've had family members impacted. I've had close friends impacted. And, and that includes, committing suicide and attempted suicide. Unfortunately, one family member was successful in committing suicide. Another extended family member also, and then a dear friend of mine, and then a friend early in high school that had committed suicide. So I'm very aware of the mental health crisis that we're experiencing, everything from this pandemic to, just life, inflation and the high cost of living in our world that seems to be very divided and very chaotic. This war in Russia, what we're witnessing with the war crimes and watching another country from a historical standpoint invade a sovereign, peaceful country, and what are the things that we're going to have to do. Some of you that follow my work, I've already said I personally believe that we're already in World War III. We just haven't admitted it yet, or we haven't acknowledged it yet. I don't think it'll be a World War III with a bunch of nuclear weapons, maybe a chemical weapon or a strategic tactical nuclear weapon, but we're in a very transformative time. And I talked about this 2 years ago. For those of you that follow my show, Inspired Living Radio, I had a podcast about the Roaring 20s and how the Roaring 20s were going to be pretty transformative, changing, traumatic. But as Deepak Chopra talks about, if you're going to have global transformations, it's usually preceded by global chaos and global tragedies. And I still see the great coming together. I still see us rising. Majority, not everybody is ever going to rise together. But through all of these different, every day I wake up, I see a new shooting just took place and innocent people were killed. And a baby was shot in a drive-by shooting and was killed. There's just a lot of chaos and there's a lot of violence out there. And that's nothing to be surprised about. Our world, us as a species, have always been of a violent way, of a violent nature. The difference is social media, platforms that present this information 24/7, 365. I've watched this whole platform in the time I've been on the planet evolve and just really be in your face. And, it's not going away. In fact, the metaverse is coming to a computer near you. And people say, well, what is the metaverse? It's, if we go back and how this is so presented to you now, in the mid 1990s, there was a concept that people started talking about, this thing called the internet. And the internet was, well, you just go to the internet. Well, how do you go to an internet, right? That was the concept. And a lot of people, a lot of experts, a lot of pundits, a lot of critics said, oh, that won't ever work. Well, where are we now? Where is the internet now? We understand the concept. So the metaverse is going to be that opposite. And the metaverse is going to cater to your likes, your wants, your needs. It's going to market to you. It's going to be coming to you. So instead of us going to the internet and the metaverse will be coming to you. And there'll usually be some sort of optical that you'll put on or something, like Elon Musk is working on brain implants for music. There'll be stuff that's more catered as we start to evolve as a species, that will be more, we'll have nanotechnology, we'll have artificial intelligence that'll be more interactive with us. We'll start to we have wearable computers now. That was a concept 25 years ago that people never thought would ever take place, but we have wearable technology, and eventually that technology now is starting to make its way in to the human anatomy and physiology of our brain. It already happens. There's already, pacemakers and things that make the heart go that, wouldn't be of a natural process. It would actually be man-made and done through technology. That is where we're going in our Roaring 20s. So, this chaos that we are surrounded by, we see that more now than ever. And, there was somebody said, it was interesting. Somebody said, we're more connected than ever before in the history of the world, as far as internet, news, technology, your iPhone, your Droid, your iPad, what have you. And we're also more disconnected than we ever have been. We see a lot of misinformation, a lot of disinformation, a lot of people divided. You may have seen my post the other day where I do predict, and I stay with this forecast and prediction. I've done a podcast on it about the United States of America that won't be the United States of America in the future as we see it and know it today. The Roaring 20s are going to give rise to either a new national divorce of states or some sort of new civil war. The Constitution, the battle for the Constitution, not a political not Democrat, not Republican, because I think the whole political system has failed the people, and that's been part of the chaos. But I did predict about a new civil war coming to America, to the transformation of, to have 50 states stay together this long with such different ideologies. Part of the world is awakening, and the other world seems to be stepping back. And when you get that, that creates divide. But with that, all of this taken into account for today's show, I wanted to talk about mental health. I'm going to share some stuff with you today. I'm also, if you are a follower of the Intuitive Prospector page, thank you so much for joining. Thank you for joining almost the 37,000 followers of this page to prospect and to explore and discover for your own life adventures, for your own soul adventures, to seek maybe what is unseen, maybe to see what is unseen, to explore the unknown, the mystic. My shows, my radio, my work as a spiritualist, as a psychic, as a medium, as an intuitive coach, as a mentor, is to teach people to find their own way. Not what I tell you, not what a book tells you, but to understand your journey here, why you're here, and to experience life, to not just what is seen in the physical world, but to understand that you're more than just a being here supposed to work 9-to-5 job and pay taxes and then die. You're a spiritual, energetic being having human experiences. You have the physical body, you have the emotional body, you have the mental body. You do have the material world that you have to function in, but you also have that spiritual body. It's something I teach on called the PEMS: physical, emotional, mental, material, and spiritual. And today we want to talk about the mental. Today we want to talk about the crisis that we see all over the United States, all around the world, but specifically in the United States. I'm thinking a lot of the people that are homeless. We know that mental health is directly tied to homelessness. We know that homelessness is tied directly to people that go bankrupt because of medical costs. There is definitely an interaction between all of those. And, Mental Health Awareness Month, today's message is: not all pain is physical, and not all wounds are visible. Not all pain is physical, not all wounds are visible. And so when we go to YouTube, so we've had a change in our format. Good morning to my team. We're going to switch over to YouTube for the after show. Today, I'm going to be calling it the Healing Cafe or Meditation Cafe. Because when we switch over to YouTube, that's where you can have a direct interaction with me. During this show, I see your comments, but I'm not interacting with those comments. Over on YouTube, I've gotten a lot of feedback that people prefer that. So if you go to the comment section right now, or if any of my team is on, I'm going to go ahead and put in a couple links for you. If you want to follow me over on YouTube channel and subscribe to the YouTube channel, one of the things is you have to have a YouTube account. You do not have to have a YouTube channel. But in order to interact with the comments on YouTube, you'll want to sign in. So I'll go ahead and put that page. So first and foremost, the best place to go for anything is marklainhart.com. So I'll drop that in the comment section right now, down below or up above, however you're watching this. So that's my website. From my website, you can get to my show, The Global Player, Inspired Living, which, by the way, thank you. We've moved up another spot to number 21. So thank you for those ratings and those feedbacks and those stars. I really appreciate it. And if you go to marklainhart.com, that's kind of your one-stop shop for everything that I am involved with. Like I said, the book reading, articles. My latest meditation is coming out. I have recorded my latest sound bath. I'm waiting for it to be published on Insight Timer. If you're one of my Patreon prospectors, you'll have exclusive content for that. If you're a member of my Patreon prospectors, that's at marklainhart.com. So that new sound bath is coming. It's my first one. I'll only get better, but my spiritual development group gave me feedback and they said they liked it. So it has had some ears on it. So I'm looking forward to that. And then if you go to marklainhart.com, you can also click on the YouTube channel down below. I'll go ahead and put that link in as a subscriber as well. I don't have a lot of people on the channel. I think I have about 440 some people that are on the solar, that are on the solar.
7.3 billion.
So I'm going to YouTube real quick, but I'm going to start doing the after shows over there, everyone, because Facebook, I just don't understand Facebook anymore. I do this show here on Facebook because the account's been set up for a while now. but I've tried to verify my page to no success for over a year. I get a lot of fraudulent accounts, a lot of fake accounts, and then they go out and ask you for a reading or a friend request. Just know with my Intuitive Prospector page, my personal account is a private account now, only for family, friends, and colleagues. My professional account is never going to send you a friend request. It is a public page. It's I can't remember what the actual definition is, but it's a public page specifically for this type of content, and I don't send friend requests. So if you ever get a friend request from the Intuitive Prospector, just know that it's a fake. It's somebody acting nefariously on my behalf or trying to act like they're me, and I don't do that. And if I could get the page verified by Facebook, which I always send a request every 30 days, and they say, "Oh, keep trying," I don't know what else I need to do. I'm streaming through the show is now streaming through several of the favorite podcasting platforms, including Spotify, iHeart, YouTube, iTunes. I'm associated with 3 professional directories where I've been tested and validated. So it's almost like I feel like discriminated against at times. I know it's a public or it's a private enterprise and they can do what they want, but I look at other accounts of people that do, because they're in the media or they're out there doing work and they get this blue verified check. So if anybody has any ideas on how to get the page verified, then I'll start coming back and doing the readings on the Facebook page for that. But until then, we've switched over to the YouTube channel, Soul Adventures. Make sure to log in. You have to sign in order to see the chat and have an interaction with me, where I'll do readings there. I still haven't figured out the star interactions. So for today, if you want to send stars here to help with the coffee, fund, that would be awesome if you want to send stars here for today's show, and then I'll figure out how to do it over on the YouTube channel. It's not so much about stars and money. It's Mondays. I have now set the intention to give back, because a lot of the work I do as a minister, as a spiritualist, as a psychic, as a medium, is to be in service and to give my time freely to give back to those that are searching for answers, maybe want to connect with a loved one. I'm not the type of psychic that's going to ever tell you the winning lottery numbers. I'm never going to tell you when you're going to die. That's your free will and choice. And I'm not going to tell you your future. I can give you things that I feel about the future, but the future is never set in stone. The best part about the future is it comes one day at a time, and that's today, the power of now. But if you want to switch over to the YouTube channel, we'll go at 8:30. So let me keep an eye on the clock. So we've got about 10 minutes. We'll switch over to the YouTube channel. I do have my administrator set up. So thank you for following me over on YouTube and helping me with the comments over there. Just remember, you have to sign into YouTube to see the chat functionality. You do not have to have a YouTube channel, but you do need to sign into your YouTube. So click on that, get subscribed right now, so you're ready to go with your questions. You may want a color card for the week. You may want some inspiration, a thought card. If it's mediumship, we'll bring you live into the Zoom room. I'm going to try to give you a taste of the latest sound bath that I've created, and or a meditation, and we're going to do a meditation over in the YouTube room. So I hope that you'll join me and set intentions for as I always like to say, intentions for kindness, compassion, and caring, because our world needs it. Our world needs more of that, because there's just a lot going on. And with Mental Health Awareness Month, the month of May, not all pain is physical and not all wounds are visible. You wouldn't know it, but I'm very transparent with my journey. I felt a lot of what I thought was physical pain when my brothers passed into spirit one to murder. 3 days later, my older brother was diagnosed with terminal brain cancer. That's something that I share. That's something I wrote about. That's something I'm writing about in my book. And what it did is that trauma and that tragedy, that TNT, boom, blew my life up, completely put me on a different trajectory than I thought. It impacted me physically, emotionally, mentally. And I can look back at it. It's been 20 years, and through the different counseling sessions, the biofeedback, the hypnotherapy, the grieving counseling, my spiritual counselor that I still see to this day, Tom, we talk about post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD. I didn't know that I would have had that. And then you take into account with all the work that I did as a first responder, being called to other people's tragedies, and then of course, trying to manage my own tragedy of what I was going through personally. It was a lot. And that included murder trials, being in the news, having to release a message to the news organization at the time. It was quite surreal, to be honest with you. And what that did is it brought awareness to mental health. And the pain that I was in, I always thought it was just the physical pain of my days in the Coast Guard and my days as a firefighter. But after I started working on me, doing the self-work, doing the self-healing, forgiveness, meditation, qigong, just the attitude for gratitude to be alive, to be able to open my eyes today. This morning I woke up and I did my attitude for gratitude, and I was just thankful that today I opened my eyes, because on average, there's around the world, there's over 50,000 people that have moved into the spirit world today that did not open their eyes, did not wake up, or would have transferred around the globe, right? Our time comes, but I'm going to do as much as I can today and be thankful for today and what I'm here to do, regardless of opinions, judgments, egos, what other people think of me, because it's really none of my business what people think of me. But once I really started doing that self work, we call it the shadow work, the dark work, going within to release and to forgive and to let go of things you can't change, I realized a lot of my pain was not physical pain. A lot of it was emotional, mental pain. And once I did the work, and once I realized, unforgiveness keeps others in control. And when you forgive and let go, and sometimes that means letting go of relationships that don't serve a higher will, a higher good for your journey here while you're on earth. You can still love people, but love them from a distance. Once I realized that, and I stopped trying to please the world and satisfy everyone, I started to heal emotionally, physically, and mentally. And the mental aspects of dealing with survivor's guilt, I dealt with for over 20 years. And I did a podcast on survivor's guilt, dealing with, in my mind, I thought I would be the first of the brothers to go. I didn't know that I would be the last, because I was always the one doing stupid stuff. I was always the one that was a risk taker. My concept is, if you don't risk it, there's no biscuit. And I've done that in life. I've done that in everything I've done in my journey so far. And I always thought that I wouldn't even get into my 40s. Well, now I'm in my 50s, and I look back and I lived with that guilt. But I had to learn to let go, and instead of January being the worst month of the year, looking at January is a celebration to live, and to live for those that are no longer with us. And that becomes through counseling, through awareness. Eckhart Tolle talks about this all the time. If you want to make a change in your life, it's through awareness. Awareness is the greatest agent for change. And it really kind of painted that picture that not all pain is that physical. Now I'm still, I'm here in Seattle. It's a rainy day filled with, there's a lot of moisture in the air. So I'm still kind of tight, and I'm still kind of get that dull pain. But ever since I worked on my emotional and my mental pain, my physical body has released a lot. And that's just a prime example of mental health, that not all pain is physical, and not all wounds are visible. Now, for those of you that follow my work, I actually have 2 physical wounds, each one above my eye, and they actually happened at the same time. And you can see it, that's the opposite camera. There's a scar here, and there's a scar right here. These 2 scars actually happened. I was at a softball game, and I took a fly ball, or a foul ball, I guess I should say. I think my mom can tell the story a little bit better, but I took a foul ball. I was up on the little bleachers there off to the side. Well, I took the softball right to the eye. That opened up one eye. I fell off the bleachers and got a piece of wood stuck in my other eye, which is this right here. So I had to go to the hospital, and they ended up sewing a piece of wood up in my eye. And I just remember this, the pain associated with that. When the wood started to fester like a sliver, I remember my real dad actually pushing it out about a week and a half after. But you can still see these scars. But for today's message, not all wounds are visible. There are wounds of the heart. There's wounds of the mind. There's wounds of the energy and the spirit that I teach on. And so we want to have awareness to mental health, and that's the month of May. And if there's something that's going on, something that you're just you feel alone, or you don't know where to turn, I'm going to post here. I'm going to share my screen here in a second. I'm just going to play some background music, just to give you a sense to call and seek help. There's always help and support out there, is what I'm trying to say. Now, for the life of me, I used to have a little index card. I don't know where it got off to, but let me share my screen here, just for the sake of time. And basic. So give me a second here. So I need to get this set up here, because I saved it to my desktop now, and I've got it right here. So let's maximize that. We'll maximize that. There we go. And then we'll come back to Zoom. And what we'll do is we'll share the screen. There we go. And hopefully you can see that. Let me go over to my phone here. For the next few minutes, I'm just going to keep this up, and we're going to play a song here. So let me get over the Intuitive Prospector page, just because I do all my own visuals, and I'm my own producer, my own editor. So thank you for your patience while I'm doing this to make sure that it's visible to you. And what you should see up on the screen, if I'm doing this correctly, through Zoom via Facebook Live, is you should see the lifeline, the suicide prevention lifeline. This is somebody I donate to. This is somebody that I've given this card out. But you know, if you're suffering, you know, it can help you, a loved one. It's yourself. It's completely anonymous. So if you call in, they have, you know, trained staff. 1-800-273-TALK or 8255, or you go to suicidepreventionlifeline.org. And for this month, I wanted to share that because there's just so much going on in the world. I've been impacted by suicide, both family and friend, and it's a tough place to be. So learn the warning signs if you can. I don't know if it gives me another picture here, but I'm just going to play a song, and this is called Making It Matter. And we're going to actually leave from this point on. So again, if you want to follow the page of the Intuitive Prospector to get Mocha Mondays every Monday at 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, make sure to hit that subscribe button, share, contribute, be a star sender. Get on my Patreon Prospector page now, which is my exclusive membership page where you get exclusive content that you won't get here on YouTube or Facebook or TikTok or Clubhouse. I did do my first Clubhouse the other day, so if you want to join me on Clubhouse, those links are all at marklainhart.com. I won't be on the air this Wednesday, and I will be on vacation the following week, so we probably won't be on the air until late in May. So stick around for that. And let's just start some music here, and I'll hopefully see you over on the YouTube channel. But again, just to finish off with today, this month is Mental Health Awareness Month. Not all pain is physical, and not all wounds are visible. And until our next soul adventure together, be kind, be caring, be compassionate in this world. And most importantly, dare to dream, dare to explore, dare to live, and discover that diamond within. Have a great rest of your week, everybody, and I'll see you over on YouTube. Namaste.
One planet, 7.3 billion people, only one you. Life offers us many opportunities and learning experiences. Are you ready to explore and discover this beautiful planet, the life and energy all around us, the spiritual world, and what is unseen, along with your own personal soul adventure? Marc Lainhart, the Intuitive Prospector, is the spiritual connection you have been prospecting for. Internationally known as a tested and professional clairvoyant medium and spiritual advisor, Marc's work as a metaphysical teacher, medical instructor, radio show host, inspirational writer, and hiking guide are here to help you on a journey of self-discovery, healing, inspiration, education, and a whole lot of spiritual awesomeness. Dare to dream, dare to explore, dare to live. For more information on Marc's spiritual practice in Seattle, Washington, please visit marklainhart.com or internet search The Intuitive Prospector.